The Gray Child. This must have been years ago. I was about 17. I was sleeping over at a friend's house. We thought it would be great to bring our Ouija board, thinking we really knew a lot, but we were wrong. We came into contact with what I thought was a deceased child. He played some games with us, flipping the lights on and off. My friend had gotten freaked out, so I quickly ended the session. I thought he went back to sleep, but not till a few weeks later. I was in my room on my bed reading something for school, and my door slammed shut. None of the animals could possibly be inside. And then I felt a pressure on the side of my bed, so I looked over, and this gray child, about 6, was clinging onto my bed. The child's nails were bitten to the point that they were bleeding. His face looked angry and his eyes were bloodshot. His teeth were pointed and also seemed to have dried blood on them, and his breath was seething. He was glaring at me for a good 2 minutes, and he didn't say anything. He just glared at me with those bloodshot eyes. Now that I'm 20, I saw him again. Or at least I think it was him. My parents had bought this vacation cottage in Delaware. The bedroom I was staying in with a friend scared me. I didn't feel right. It didn't feel right to me. My friend slept just fine, but I had trouble falling asleep at night, even though I was exhausted. I believe I saw the gray child again, but this time he was standing in the backyard. He reminded me of a tree because he was just staring at me. Then I saw what he saw, which was a scale. It was a golden scale with jewel decor on it. Some encased, some hanging freely. It was like a necklace for the scale. And to this day I have yet to know who or what this gray child is. And I don't know what he wants. The Man with Glowing Eyes. I was 13 when I had this dream. I didn't understand it, and I didn't remember it until recently. I had gone to bed around 8 one night because I had a really bad headache. But in my dream, I wake up to a thunderstorm inside a house I've never seen before, in one of the bedrooms. I got out of bed, walked downstairs, and I looked out the back door, but I felt as if I was being watched, so I turned around. When I did, I saw a man who had to be at least 7 feet tall. He was very wide and muscular. He honestly was built like a bodybuilder with all the muscle, but he was wearing boots, jeans, a gray shirt, and a black leather jacket. His hair was cut short. He had stubble to his face, but not quite a full beard. But his eyes were something I had never seen before. They were a really dark cobalt blue and had an inhumane glow to them. I asked him who he was, and he gave me a small smile and walked closer to me. I felt like I was frozen. I couldn't move. He stopped when he was right in front of me, and he touched my cheek and smiled. He leaned down to my ear and whispered, "You'll find out soon enough." But all of a sudden it thundered and I woke up. The Slender Man. I was living in a new apartment. I'd been there long enough now to know the sounds it made and the other noises outside. It was 10:30 at night, and I had fallen asleep. I rarely wake up at night because I'm a heavy sleeper, but I feel safe with my boyfriend sleeping at my side. I don't get scared or weirded out by paranormal things. For some reason, this one thing really bothered me, and I can't let it go. One night, we were in bed. Our bed was in the middle of the room, and I slept near the window. We were also on the second floor, and I felt like something or someone shoved me slightly. It woke me up from my sleep. When I went and I looked to see what it was, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I shoved my boyfriend to wake him up, which usually it doesn't. He just keeps sleeping. But at the window was a tall, slender man in a black suit. He had a white face, but it had no features. I couldn't scream because no noise came out of my mouth. I even tried to talk and still nothing. And then his arms, they started coming into the apartment. He had so many of them. His arms, they would scratch my legs and arms. He was trying to get at me, but as soon as I'd grab onto my boyfriend, I could finally talk and scream. The creature left as he had woken up. And my boyfriend asked me, what's wrong? I was fully awake when this happened, but he said it was a dream. But then the next day, we went to his friend's house to hang out. And while we were there, he showed us some videos on YouTube he was watching. It was a series about a guy who he kept seeing. People call him the Slender Man, and he goes after children and some teens. But the only thing wrong with this theory is if he goes after children and teens, I was 20 years old. I was screaming every time his shadow passed, or if I saw him on the video. And my boyfriend asked if I thought it was scary, and I said no, that's what I saw last night. I didn't know of this until I just saw these videos. We moved out of that apartment, and we're now at my parents'. I'm not the only one who's seen this tall, slender man. When my brother and his girlfriend, who don't believe in this stuff, started to see him, and weird things started happening in their room, then they knew for certain that this wasn't a dream. I'm just scared that something will happen to their kid or any child that comes over. And now I'm pregnant, and I fear that he'll come for the both of us. So how can I protect myself and others from him, because I know he's still following me?